So we are going to cover psychoactive drugs. You might see the definition on your test. Any chemical substance that alters mood or perception. We're going to look at 3 different categories of psychoactive drugs. Stimulants, depressants, and hallucinogens. But before we do that, all of them have a few things in common. All 3 of them either mimic or inhibit or block some neurotransmitter in the body. That's how they get the desired effect. What are the neurotransmitters that mimic or increase? What are they called? Agonists, yeah, I'm in drugs. What type of drugs decrease the firing of neurotransmitters? Antagonists, very good. So you might see that again too. All right, I just gave you that. All of them, whenever you're using, will depend on your mood. So basically the mood just intensifies. If you're angry, when you use a particular psychoactive drug, it'll cause you to feel more angry. If you're happy, you'll be happier. So your mood prior to using will influence one's experience. All right, as I said, we're going to look at 3 different categories. All right, the first category we call depressants. Sometimes this category we call downers. And basically, they just reduce all of your bodily processes. That's why it's called a depressant. So heart rate slows, respiration slow, but also neuroactivity. Okay, the speed in which impulses travel through the body to the brain and back are decreased. Okay, so that's why we call these depressants. Everything just slows down. Does anybody know a type of depressant? Anybody want to guess? Marijuana? No, that's a hallucinogen. Oh, Ritalin? No, it's a stimulant. Anybody have a guess? Another guess? Very good. Alcohol. We think that...
Please excuse the interruption. Would Ariana Beard and Savannah Clausen report to Ms. Broadwater's gym? Ariana Beard and Savannah Clausen, please report immediately to the gym.
That'd be even worse.
All right, so we think, a lot of people think that when you drink alcohol, you're kind of speeding up and you have more energy. Actually, it's the opposite. In a small dose or a large dose, alcohol is always a depressant. You don't have to write GABA there. That's for AP. That's a neurotransmitter that's increased when you are using alcohol. So when one consumes alcohol, it decreases all the body processes. It's slowing neural impulses. Therefore, your motor movements and balance are off. People are are less coordinated when consuming alcohol. People become more aggressive under the influence of alcohol. Also, it reduces inhibitions. People are loose-lipped. Tell the truth. they'll tell things that they normally wouldn't if they weren't consuming alcohol, to share secrets. It reduces tension, reflexes are slowed, and because of this reduction in neural activity, that's why someone should never drive a car or do anything dangerous while under the influence of alcohol. Just a little background, alcohol is produced from grain and fruit juices. It has an addictive property. It's absorbed by the small intestines, so if you drink too much, you have high doses, and the intestines cannot digest that, what happens?
Get sick.
Yeah, comes out the other end, you vomit, yes. Alcohol increases GABA, you don't need to know that. Extensive alcohol abuse can damage neurons in the frontal lobe. It can cause a vitamin deficiency. People who are alcoholics cannot absorb vitamin B. And extended alcohol use can cause cirrhosis of the liver. The liver can't regulate your electrolytes. From 1920 to 1933, it was illegal here in the United States. The 18th Amendment banned it, and the 21st ended prohibition, and alcohol came back. Does anybody want to take a guess of another? There are 3 types we're going to look at.
Nicotine.
That's a stimulant. Speech up. All right, sleeping pills. We call these barbiturates. Would be another example. They're like a more intensified form of alcohol, basically. Same effects on the body that alcohol would cause, it just happens faster. So relaxing a person, decreasing anxiety, helps people sleep. Alcohol makes you sleepy. Sleeping pills, as I said, that's just a higher dose. When someone consumes alcohol, it takes longer to get to this point. Taking a sleeping pill, it happens faster. Again, motor movement is impaired, neural activity slows, poor coordination, decrease in respirations and heart rate. One should never, ever use more than one type of depressant at the same time. That's what leads to overdose because of that decrease in the heart rate and the respiratory rate. If someone's drinking and taking sleeping pills, all of those things are suppressed twofold, and that can lead to an overdose. Sleeping pills were once used as truth serum, if you've ever heard of that. The police, they inject people to get people to talk. They're just actually giving them barbiturates. And I forget what it's called, let's see. What is that? I can't remember what it was called. I used to know that. Your memory fades as you get older. But anyway, it was just a high dose of barbiturate. Gets people to talk and open up, like you lose your inhibitions. So anything that was once a secret will not be when under the influence of one of these depressants. Now, the strongest type of depressant is an opiate or narcotic. So here you're looking at pain medicine. Morphine, heroin would be examples. Heroin is made from opium in the poppy plant. And they cut out the juices that flows inside. These plants were found in South Central America and the Middle East. Greeks, Romans, and Egyptians all used these in ancient times. In 1973, it was discovered that it increased what natural painkiller? What's your natural painkillers? Endorphins. So it releases endorphins. And over time, if one continues to use an opiate drug, then the body fails to produce those endorphins. So all of your normal aches and pains that you feel every day, what you don't feel because your endorphins are being released, if they're not being released and you stop using those drugs, then you experience that. and when people just feel absolutely horrible. So that's why it's so addictive. They have to continue to use the withdrawal process. It's really, really, really painful. In the 1800s, heroin was actually used as a cough medicine to treat many medical conditions. It became illegal in the 1880s. All right, so those are the three types of depressants. The second category are stimulants. So this has the opposite effect, speeds you up. So this causes an increase in bodily processes. Increase in heart rate, respiratory rate, epinephrine's being released to give you energy. Like adrenaline will be released. One is that it has a heightened sense of alertness. Just think of high energy. Neuroactivity increases. What are some mild stimulants? You mentioned one. Nicotine. Adderall, Ritalin, they're like mild forms of cocaine. What else? Something I have every day.
Coffee.
Caffeine, yes. Caffeine is a mild stimulant. Diet pills. Yeah, and any type of amphetamines. You should put that. You might see amphetamine, which are like caffeine pills. Nicotine. Obviously caffeine. They're all mild stimulants. All right, a couple stronger ones. First of all, methamphetamines.
Every time I come down here, it's like there's a bat that lives in here.
A bat?
A bat.
Because it's like a cave?
It's like a cave. A lot like it. That survey that we had to do for curriculum changes, did you fill that out or did you just say that you didn't care?
I haven't even looked at it.
Yeah, you don't care about it, do you? I'm just curious, because
I don't think it matters.
what they're gonna do,
They're gonna do what they're gonna do.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah,
But you didn't fill out the survey? I didn't think so. And I hate to ask, it's not like I'm asking you who voted for prom queen, because if the other one finds out, she's gonna get really mad.
Sorry, I can if you want, but,
No,
I
I don't want anything,
every email that I get from him, I just delete. I
To
don't even
me,
read it.
it's indifferent anyway, because nobody wants to teach world history. Remember, they just put the biggest screwball in the department there.
I'd rather teach world history than government.
Oh, be careful what you wish for.
Oh, any day of the week.
There you go.
Government is the worst. I dread it. How do you make that interesting? These are the qualifications of a U.S. Senator. These are the qualifications of someone in the House of Representative. This is your term limit. Boring, like just memorizing.
Patterson,
Facts. Hate it. Hate it. I don't think like that.
Yeah.
Might be student takes a quiz now.
No. She's saying that. All right, so methamphetamines. When consuming methamphetamines, it's increasing serotonin and dopamine. So dopamine, remember, sends your senses into like overdrive. So there is a hallucinogenic, mild hallucinogenic property here. If someone uses this in a large dose, it's going to cause hallucinations. But normally it's classified as a stimulant, so it's just speeding you up. Okay, damage to the hippocampus when one uses methamphetamines. They find that over time, the volume of the hippocampus is reduced by almost 8%. So it's eating away at the hippocampus. What does that do? It helps with memory. So memory declines. And if you don't remember that, you should put that there. It causes depression, paranoia. It also destroys your skin tissue and blood vessels. And it inhibits the body to repair itself. So a lot of times they'll get like sores on their skin, and the sores just will not heal, okay, because the tissue is breaking down. The skin loses its luster and elasticity, So wrinkles set in. People who use methamphetamines over time, well, just even for like a year, look like they're 10 years older than they actually are. You can look at someone and know that they are using methamphetamines. The salivary glands dry out, and that leads to tooth decay. They call that meth mouth. That's another obvious sign that someone is using methamphetamines. And very, very addictive. Right, the second stimulant, cocaine. Cocaine is a very strong stimulant, so immediately after using, one will feel that intense energy rush and feeling of euphoria. There's an increase in epinephrine, dopamine, and serotonin. So epinephrine's giving you that energy. Serotonin is what's giving you that euphoric feeling, that very, very happy and elated feeling. You want to associate this with very high energy. A little bit of background from cocaine. Cocaine comes from the cocoa plant. You can either chew the leaves, snort it, inhale it, inject it. The first reports of cocaine came from, I love the history of stuff, came from the native Incas. The Spanish conquistadors said that the native Incans were chewing on them to fight off fatigue and stay awake. In 1860, Albert Newman extracted the substance from the cocoa leaf, and he actually made the form of cocaine we know today. In 1880, this is crazy, Angelo Morani made a medicinal wine, which was 11% alcohol combined with 6.5 milligrams of cocaine, which was sold as an elixir in drugstores, and they were supposed to treat ailments for people. Sure it did. 1884, Freud began prescribing it for his patients who were addicted to alcohol. So not only were they going to be addicted to alcohol, then they became addicted to cocaine as well. Cocaine is very addictive. In 1886, John Pemberton made Coca-Cola, which was a combination of cocaine and caffeine. The cocaine was removed in 1906 because it became illegal to use in the United States in 1914. So, and obviously the effects, this is a few things you should know, causes hunger, irregular heartbeat, it can cause someone to feel very, very anxious and nervous. Overdose can lead to death, or the blood pressure goes so high it can lead to bleeding on the brain, so a stroke or an aneurysm. Now the effects of cocaine take effect within seconds, lasting for a couple hours, and then that's followed by this crash. It means high energy, just moving and a lot of thoughts, and then all of a sudden, bam, a huge crash. And that's why it's addictive. Some people feel really, really awful, and that's why they crave more. So, all right, so those are the two types of stimulants that you'll need to know. There's others: ecstasy, bath salts. Bath salts was in the news not too long ago when the guy ate a piece of the other guy's face. Remember, in the underpass? You guys remember that story? Yeah, because it has a hallucinogenic property too.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right, so the third category hallucinogens. right, hallucinogens are drugs, well, they're called psychedelic drugs. They cause people to hallucinate. So you're perceiving things that are not associated with some sensation. You're perceiving things that aren't real. You're hearing things, seeing things. Some people feel things on their skin. Some people smell certain things, and some people have certain tastes in their mouth when using a psychedelic drug. Can anybody give me an example of one?
Psycho one.
What's that?
Psycho one. The main kind of shrooms.
Yes, that's one. We're not gonna look at that one. I have two of them that you'll need to know, but that's one.
LSD.
LSD's one.
That's PCP.
PCP would be one.
Marijuana.
What's the mild one that we just talked about?
Marijuana.
Marijuana. Yes, very good. All right, the most powerful hallucinogen is LSD. Lysergic acid diethylamide. You probably won't see that spelled